The XFL Gambling Podcast Week 8 reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com and use the promo code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses.
This is Brock Purdy from Iowa State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
XFL. Yes, it is. Do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
This is the XFL Gambling Podcast Week 8 reaction show. Oh, another week in the books. As we've survived 8 weeks, things are looking good. They've already said there's going to be a second season. If you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, well, my name is Colby Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Wow. Lot of close games. Lot of close games. I guess exciting. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to conquer. I am joined by my co-host, freshly back from the great city of Chicago. He's the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, which you should be subscribed to. They call him the man in the box. He's the type of guy that
he's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
I give you C.J. Sullivan.
Yeah.
I like that shirt. We got the man in the box shirts available. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com, the XFL Gambling Podcast. And if you're watching, you can order those shirts at store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Fantastic artwork, if I may say so. How you doing, man?
Thank you. This was actually by an artist in Chicago where I'm beloved.
Nice.
My people.
You are.
Yeah, I'm beloved there. As like say in Los Angeles, I don't blend in as well. I blend in more in Chicago. They're more my
They care about extreme football.
Well, they care about extreme football. They care about all kinds of sports. They just care about more than the media things. I landed in Chicago.
Okay.
I went down and normally, I went to Al's Beef to get an Italian beef there. You got
sounds so delicious.
Amazing guy outside, great weather. He was standing. You got to stand. Italian stance. I say, elbows on the counter so it doesn't get on the shoes. Or whatever. This guy was keeping it tight. Beef and Jardiniere dropped right down to his Black Hawk mesh shorts.
Woo.
We made eye contact. And then he rubbed it right in while staring at me. I'm like, I think I'm home. These are my scumbags.
Oh man, Chicago,
beautiful town.
I mean, amazing town, food town. I would say
amazing.
One easily top 5 in America.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I know you could say New Orleans or something, or New York City, but
this shit sticks to you.
Oh,
they know
you're
going to do a lot of drinking, a lot of cold. This sticks to you.
This guy, he's practically from Chicago because he's a Bears fan.
Yep.
And look, he's the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. We like to call him Liquid Lunch. Give it up for Justin Mark, aka J Mark. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. We almost had 3 overtime XFL games. We did have 2, but we about had 3. What a weekend! What a weekend!
Yes.
I mean, one thing stood out to me. First off, the DC Seattle game was fantastic, right? And we're gonna go game by game and talk about that. Was by far the best game, in my opinion, of the season, right? But also, I mean, what is the purpose of Dean Blandino? I like every game had critical calls that were terrible. Like there's no point of the review.
It's so bad
if you're gonna be that bad.
I still don't.
I mean, did you guys
see? He sees nothing up there. When they go up there, they're like, "What do you see?" I don't see anything that can overturn it. I do. I see it right now. We all see. It's amazing because they wanted to do transparency with and it is kind of interesting listening to them talk it out. Like, yeah, that makes great television. But then when you blatantly lie to us to help the league, and it's obvious. I mean, it's the transparency is not good there.
We do the XFL podcast. We want the league to succeed,
right?
But fuck, man, that Vegas St. Louis game reeked of to me them just saying we need St. Louis to win this game.
Yeah,
I mean, did any of you guys make any sense of that offensive pass interference? And then the play before, the running back scores.
Yes.
And I don't know how they mark him down after one on review.
On review, they don't overturn. Blandino's like, wait, I see left elbow, guys. Then they show it. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't see it left elbow, guy, because we don't see it, and we show it's going in.
I say this as a guy that had St. Louis.
Right.
I had St. Louis, but I thought the offensive pass interference was bullshit. And then I didn't even know that rule. I didn't even know that rule that you don't get to replay the down. It's just not that's a wrap. I mean, every single game, by the way, I thought Dean Blandino and the whole ref crew were awful. Like Josh Gordon catches the ball completely out of bounds. I don't understand how they ruled that was still a catch. Then some of the pass interferences on DC I thought were shaky. I mean, there was a lot. Every single game I thought had. How about they kick out the player for trash talking? It was the second warning. He's eliminated from the game. What?
Who cares? All he
did was do a good play and then just stand over him. You're gonna kick him out of the game?
Trash talking. This is the XFL.
I know.
It's created by Vince McMahon, for God's sakes. Fucking trash talking is what the business model is.
As many as there were so many good close games. I thought the one thing that stood out to me was this was terrible from an official standpoint. I thought absolutely terrible throughout consistently all 4 games.
Dino Blandino.
J-Mark, we haven't talked pre-episode. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, I don't understand. The thing that gets me that I don't understand the most is he keeps doing these reviews and he says, well, remember, we can't slow it down. We got to watch it in real time.
Right.
Why?
I know. Well, what is the point of instant replay?
Right.
Yeah, let's not have the replay.
In that case, why don't you just go by memory? Why even have a fucking replay of a TV itself at all?
Yeah. It's like, no, don't show me that screen. Don't show me that screen.
I can only listen to the radio call of it. Okay, hold on. He seems excited. Maybe he scored. All right, we're going to say he scored. You can't slow it down.
Unbelievable.
Well, we lost the remote. It's around here somewhere. We're not sure. Last time we tried to slow it down, we changed the channel. We couldn't get back, and we had to reboot.
I mean, I don't get that.
Each game, I was like perplexed on a level of call, like multiple calls. Even the when Tamu fumbled in the Seattle game and they took it back to the house, I hear the refs talking about an inadvertent whistle. They play the replay. I hear like 3 whistles.
5 whistles, and then
they still say that's a score, which I mean, it sucks for Seattle because Seattle should have scored 2 points. I mean, they gave them the 2 points, but the reality is they did blow the fucking whistle 3 times.
The whistle, and what's funny, it's another Blandino lie because he's lying for the corporate, I guess, for the team. I get it. He's like, and so we let it go on, so we can always bring it back. No, you didn't.
Yes.
We hear it.
3 times. It wasn't just one whistle. It was like fucking every referee was whistling. Like unbelievably terrible calls. And I'm like you. What's the point of the replay then?
Right.
I say get rid of the whole fucking replay and let's just play ball then. Because if you're going to take this much time away from the game and be this wrong consistently, there's no point in it.
Yeah, and it's not even the right or wrong, like you said. It's like it just seems like it's so corrupt.
Especially the St. Louis game.
Let's get into this whole game.
Yeah,
the whole game. There's so much to get into it.
Before we get into that, I want to tell you folks out there that the XFL Gambling Podcast. It's brought to you by Shady Rays. Yes, kick off the new year with new gear that's built to last. Yeah, our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much, much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product that's really as good as any like super expensive pair of sunglasses you've ever worn. They got durable frames. That's always key, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got extremely clear optics for the outdoor adventures. All right, got to go on a little nature hike with your lady, right? Make sure you got the fucking Shady Rays on. You're good, right? That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane, and this is one of the it's the most insane protection in all of eyewear. All right. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. So let's say you're out, CJ was just in Chicago. I don't know. I think he told me the weather was good, but let's say it was snowy. He's on a little hike, going on a little hike in the Chicago area outside.
As I like to do when I'm in Chicago.
Right. Avoiding murder. And all of a sudden some kid hits him in the face with the snowball and breaks his Shady Rays. Right. Then boom. Guess what you can do? Normally you'd be like, oh fuck, my glasses are destroyed. No, with Shady Rays, you just go there, you say, hey, look, my glasses are destroyed. They're going to be like, hey, boom, here's your next pair on them. Boom. They're not even going to ask questions. That's half the battle.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. With Shady Rays, you can look and you can feel good because to date, they've donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. Look, if you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. And right now, exclusive for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the new year. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Yes, you need to try for yourself these shades that are rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. That's a lot. And speaking of ratings, as we jump back to the XFL Gambling Podcast, shout out to the 3 people that jumped over to iTunes, one of them iTunes Canada, to give us some splendid reviews.
Yes, let's break down some of those.
Yeah, I mean, first I will pull up CJ, you pronounce this name a lot better than myself.
All right, let me pull it up here real quick. Gig F for Burgers.
There you go. Gig F for Burgers offered us a great 5-star review. Said, I look forward to these podcasts every week. Count down the days to both these shows every week, then re-listen until the next one is out.
Wow.
I love how much they know and also how funny they are. My girlfriend, who knows nothing about football, even loves listening to them because they're hilarious. Keep up the amazing work, guys. Let's go. Danuch. For a second,
I know,
it
right?
made me
Doncic.
I can't wait for this and next season. Wow. Shout out to you. And look, send me a DM at the Colby D on Twitter.
Yeah,
and we will get you set up with a little t-shirt action. And
also, love the 5-star review. Love the commentary. Also, maybe scale back on forcing your girlfriend to listen to this. Though, if she does, I love how she's a fan and thinks we're funny. I love that. but that reeks of hates football. I make her listen to this podcast about the XFL. Okay, maybe easy. Meet her halfway.
Maybe get her tickets and check out CJ Sullivan in Chicago.
There you go. Right,
she likes stand-up.
Check out some dates.
No. You're doing good. All right. Look, I do believe in
medium.
I do believe. Look, when I was a kid, I'm the youngest in my family, and I never had the choice to like sports or not. It was forced upon me. So I do believe in what you're doing to your girlfriend. I think it's going to work out long term.
Yes.
All right. So next up we have another fantastic review on the iTunes. We says new favorite show. This is by JYD11. I don't know how to pronounce it. What's that?
Yeah.
Jidey?
Yeah, Jidey11.
Jidey11. I don't know how to pronounce these things. Not only do these guys make me laugh each week, but they have some old school knowledge about leagues of the past. With sand in my boots and a tear in my eye, I stormed Normandy Beach alongside them with the Blair for the dramatic.
Wow, this is a good post. This is poetic.
Shipped a single entry and finished 10th in the 20K last week with tips from these hosers.
What's that? From these hosers? Yeah. Is he Canadian?
Yeah. I like these. This is I mean,
Storm Dormady with a Blair for a dramatic.
That was a Canadian demographic.
Yes, that was DFS. DFS puns. XFL DFS puns is an underrated literary genre.
The same thing. Jidey hit me up, and same with Miroland, who says Pick Dundee runs a type shit, sort of, but the crew is knowledgeable to the 9th degree. If you dig the minor league experience of the XFL and hoping to make a bet, you must listen to these guys. CJ's hilarious. And J Mark rounds out nice trio plus great guest spots. So guys, hit me up.
And you might get a free t-shirt too. Pick Dundee runs a tight ship. He sure does.
Right. So please get on over to iTunes. Give us a 5-star review. Tell your friends about the Extreme Football Gambling Podcast. Yes, the XFL Gambling Podcast. Kitch in the chat says Blandino is always terrible. Not sure why he's there. I agree. Horrible ref weekend. Yeah. I mean, let's just get right into it because I know CJ was talking about this. The first game.
Good Lord. Vegas,
St. Louis. I mean, first off, we find out.
Yeah, let's start right off with this. For a fucking league, this is tilting. And I had Vegas +7 and 6.5 on the show.
Yeah.
And so, which still did cover some miraculously, even though they should have won the game. But for a league that embraces gambling so much and leans into it with the point spread, they're pretty tight-lipped when it comes to injury news of vital fucking starters. 20 minutes before kickoff. Oh, by the way, AJ McCarron's not playing. What? AJ McCarron's not playing. Where did this come from? Oh, he hurt himself last game in the third quarter. As you can clearly see here, this is something that we never talked about. I get told too late. I'm locked in with him in my DFS.
Yeah.
The spread didn't come down.
Piss away money.
Gone.
Do we all have guys in our DFS rosters that did not play?
Yeah. And
all three of us.
And Shepard might as well not
That's
have played
always
anyway.
Fantastic. Yeah. You would you would not play Shepard if you knew the backup quarterback
exactly.
was playing.
I would have went Blake Jackson and Danucci.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous. How about we work on injury reports? Say by let's do a solid Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, if we can't go hours, you know what I mean? Because they're going minutes now. At least go hours. If we can't go days, I mean, dear Lord.
I mean, this is a game that and look, that's just the start of this because I mean,
that's how it began.
If there was one game that I felt like the league. Out of this whole weekend, there was terrible calls everywhere. I felt like the league gave St. Louis this win. Like I was in our Discord messaging you guys saying this is rigged, right?
Yeah.
Like that. I don't have that feeling. And look, I had bet on St. Louis. This game reeked to me. The calls down the stretch, I thought were all fucking awful, and I just thought they were trying to get St. Louis into the playoffs.
I think everything about it. I mean, even the 2-point conversion shootout, whatever the hell this overtime rule is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't like that rule, but yeah.
We broke down like those calls were just a joke. First of all, he wasn't sure in the first one. The offense,
he's in. Right. Yes.
The offensive pass interference, and like you said too, like, and the rule, and how is that the rule where you don't get to redo it from 10 yards back? But if it's a defensive penalty, you get it right on the goal line. That should be part of the strategy almost. And then they get an unsportsmanlike.
Oh yeah,
for being right about fucking complain. I like that. You complain and then you get unsportsmanlike for that, but you're right because even though they're wrong. I even think that fake punt touchdown, which great call, fake punt. First of all, Woodson doesn't help with being a terrible coach, by the way. Also, why are you rushing to block the punt up 17 to 17? Anyway, the fake punt touchdown, that was an obvious block in the back too. I mean, that was obvious. But like the refs were like, "Here we go, 38,000." I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. This game. Look, I want this league to work. We love football. We want football year round. This game reeked to me. It reeked. It was not. It almost ruined the viewing experience to me. I was just like, man, they're just putting St. Louis in. J Mark, I'm curious. We have not talked about this. What was your take on this game?
Luck box Battlehawks. What is
go Battlehawks? No.
Yeah, that's
you got a future. So I get all those calls were legit.
I would feel so
all really good
if I had
calls.
that ticket. Right? Yeah. I mean, the league is on your side, so we'll just
we hear all these people complain. You know, the NFL is rigged. It's all rigged when they lose their tickets and stuff. What if the XFL's the real rigged league?
Yeah.
Like, what if this is set up for Vegas to succeed and take all our money?
NFL doesn't need to rig it. They make so much fucking money. They don't like this one. This makes sense.
Yeah.
This one, like I would buy in on any of these, other leagues trying to rig it because I'm like, no, they're trying to gain fans. When I look and see that, they have They had, I think I read 62,000 fans showed up to all the games this week. Well, like 36,000 was in like St. Louis.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense to get St. Louis into the fucking playoffs. I watched this game. This game stunk to me. It stunk.
Yeah.
It was a bad product because of these calls. Curious your take. Yeah.
No, I agree. It was all across the board. It was shitty reffing. I don't know if they were just too focused on Easter or what was going on, but it's interesting. Like when you think about Dean Blandino, I don't want to compare the leagues, but the USFL have Mike Pereira, who was an actual ref for years. He knows what he's doing. I don't think Dean has a clue. I really don't.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious when you watch some of these reviews when he's like, I don't know this or that. And he doesn't know. Like,
this was the worst out of all four to me, as far as
the ref goes.
I felt like they directly impacted the result of the game.
And Woodson had some comments after the game, basically saying, you didn't give us a chance. I just wanted a chance, which he's right. I mean, that offense pass interference is a joke. Also, maybe they'll run that fake field goal before halftime.
Yeah,
too, by the
what
way.
was that?
Rod Woodson, that was insane. It was a good looking call, but last play before halftime, why?
The Vipers dominated the game.
They should have won outright.
It's
tilting that they didn't win that game outright. I'll still take the cover. I did sprinkle on the money line as well, but like, come on.
It just sucks because they just ruined. Like, I get it.
You didn't like destroying though 5 million YouTube hits. I mean, how much commenting on the game for 10 minutes long, but we can't get rigged refs. They got YouTube stars down there.
It was fun watching Nick Diano, right?
Yeah.
But
Nick Diano.
He had a gutty performance.
He was gutty performance.
But fuck, man, I just felt like they ruined this game's like the viewing experience. Like to me, like, dude, I just want to see a good football game at the end of the day. Yes, I had money on St. Louis. They didn't cover, but I just want to see a good football game. And at the end, I was like, dude, this reeked of like David Stern shit in the NBA, where it's just like, no, we need a game 7. We're gonna make sure 300 fouls are called here. You know what I mean? Like, it just sucked to me. But any other takeaways from the actual teams?
DFS wise, are we worried about Brian Hill and his fumbling? That's 3 in 2 games.
So I was just going to say 3 fumbles, 2 games. I know you should be worried.
You should also be worried about the 3.5 yards. The 35 yards on the ground too wasn't
right.
That's pathetic. It was pathetic. Vegas should have won this game,
dude. This team, the more I think about it, is a very, like, they have a lot of bullshit. If you look back at their wins this year. This team is like the one team that I feel like they're just trying to get this team into the fucking playoffs.
Did you see? Our mic'd up Tony Meach, Coach Tony Meatball after when he did the handshakes. First of all, what did he even do? It was an assistant coach. When he goes to shake his hand, he was like almost embarrassed. He goes, yeah, I know, I get it. Like shaking hands, like, listen, I don't know if you got the script beforehand, but that's what it was. We're supposed to win this one. Like, nothing I can do. Listen, I'm not going to say anything, So I'll give Tony Meatball credit for that. He knows this was an absolute inside hack job.
J-Mark, you have a future on the Battlehawks. How you doing over there?
Congratulations.
You're gonna just give him the championship now. And Jalen McClendon's looking like the fucking greatest quarter. He's like Dormandy, part 2.
That's what I was going to say. And they shipped out, Perez, but like to hurt Vegas, I think. And then they didn't know he was going to be this good. Shit. Fuck, he threw 3 touchdown passes in college. You're not supposed to be doing this shit. What the hell's going on
He
out
rushed
there?
for 62 yards. Dude, they ran for over 2. It's very rare in the XFL when a team runs for over 200 yards.
Right.
If you're not the DC Defenders, this pretty much never happens. But damn, if Vegas, this is the game plan I was assuming we were going to see 3 weeks ago when I had a substantial bet on the Vipers that I lost. J-Mark, the Vipers are eliminated. How do you feel about St. Louis? I guess St. Louis is in right now, right? And Seattle's out.
No, they play each other this week,
right? But they play. I'm saying, but if the season ended right now, right, it would be them in. What do you make of your Battlehawks going forward?
They don't inspire a lot of confidence. They really don't. I know they're winning games, but when you watch DC play, when you watch Seattle play, it doesn't make me feel like the Battlehawks are the best team out of those 3.
Yeah.
In fact, they're the worst team out of those 3, I feel like. So I don't have a lot of confidence that they win that championship unless They are rigging it for the fans of St. Louis.
Okay, and that's
we got a lot of proof.
Yeah,
A lot
right.
of proof that they are.
Every team's got strengths and weaknesses. St. Louis's strength is that it's absolutely rigged for their favor, and then you know what I mean. You got to use it. Use what they give you.
All right, game 2 was
the most painful one. Arlington, Orlando.
Oh my god,
this was painful, especially for 150 to 1 tickets to get torn up like this.
I would say, speaking of rigged.
Yeah, I know, right? Arlington is given a quarterback by the league as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, that doesn't help.
No, here, have Luis Perez and Vic Bolden. All right, yeah, see how you do. And once again, the team with I find it fascinating that the other team severely outgains the other in both of these, but the team that does not move the ball wins. Look, I understand football is more complex than that, but it's still it normally tells a fucking tale. You know, Storm and Dormandy Beach was throwing turnovers. He was the Danuch this week.
He was a Danuch. That one fumble, it was like his armband, his armband stripped the ball from him.
Oh, he had a classic lawn chair moment there.
Yeah, I mean, what's he doing?
No one touches him, and he just fumbles the ball moving forward. What a lawn chair moment. I still felt like the Guardians were the better team. Personally, when I watched them, they moved the ball more. They just turned the ball over. And also, Terrell Buckley does not understand the concept.
That was insane. We got ahead of ourselves with our Orlando 151 ticket because the one thing we forgot to handicap was Terrell Buckley. I mean, oh my God.
Why would you not?
We're down by 3. Let's go for 1, guys.
They're down by 3. Yeah, I mean, let's break this down for anyone who maybe not have seen the game. Orlando, it's 18 to what?
15. The Guardians score 6. It was 18-9.
18-9.
They score 6 to make it 18-15.
Right. That's what it was. So they're down 3.
There's not much time left.
There's 3 minutes to go in the game. 3 minutes to go in the game. This is what this rule is for. You go for 3, you tie the game.
Yes.
Buckley says, let's go for 1. Our least successful play anyway. Go for 1. The one announcer is hilarious. He says, like, almost out of like just like out of matter of fashion. Well, I guess Buckley's just going to trust his defense because they're going to go for 1 and trust
worst
the defense
in the league.
Right. And the other announcer immediately goes, "Wait, what? Are you serious?" He goes, "Wait a minute. Why are they doing this?" He says what everyone else thinks. Why?
Well, it was
are they
super
doing
perplexing because Orlando was actually the more successful team on offense. So, like, you would think if you have the better unit, you would say, hey, our offense has put up a decent amount of yardage here against this defense. I mean, the Renegades defensive line played great, but still.
A child can tell you're down 3, you go for 3.
Yes. You might not get the ball back.
Who cares?
And they did get the ball back, and they were driving before Storm and Dormandy Beach.
Right.
Got blasted. Now, let me. Another thing that just drives me crazy. Shane Matthews, your offensive coordinator. Shane, I understand it. You are from the school of Steve Spurrier, who was a great coach, but he also, did have moments where he put Trung Candidate trying to block Simeon Rice, and I saw flashbacks of this today, or not today, when I watched this game on Saturday. If your quarterback keeps getting rocked, maybe he kept going. No protection from his running backs, like going 5 wide or having the receiver. And I'm like, dude, you're getting beat on the line of scrimmage. Put your running back there to help your fucking quarterback, who's been awesome over the past month. What are you doing? Give the guy a running back to chip. All right, come on. You're throwing him out in patterns, or you're just going no backs. It was perplexing down the stretch. They should have won this game. Arlington wins. Arlington, I have a future at Arlington, so it's a lot like your St. Louis play. I'll say this: Perez is by far their best quarterback that they've had. He looks way better than everybody else.
Yes, you got a half rigged ticket there. You got a half rigged. You got a roster rigged. And Arlington's defense is good. They've been good all year. They play tight games. It's what they do. You know what I mean? And they got another scoop and score. Maybe they don't. Maybe
scoop and score because of the lawn chair moment. They did nothing to deserve that.
Maybe the running backs refuse to chip block because Dormandy vultures all the sneak touchdowns too when he gets down there like a real jerk. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I do shout out to Eli Rogers, though, by the way, 33. He had a monster game. He was a DFS selection for mine, which would have been fine if
the rest of your team
if my quarterback played on my DFS would have helped there. But he had 33 big DFSers.
J Mark, what'd you make of this one?
Yeah, it was weird watching Orlando. They did move the ball, but Dormady also made a lot of stupid throws that it's like, how is this the same guy that just played and looked electric against
He was
DC?
getting rattled. He was getting rattled a little bit, man.
It was bit of a letdown.
He took some hits. He took some hits.
Yeah.
But that once again, that's why to me, I would be doing like as much. I would even I'd be holding back the tight end some of these times. I understand. I understand what Shane Matthews is from. He is from, he doesn't believe in that, but I think at what point do you believe in, and maybe giving some protection to your quarterback?
Has there been quotes, J Mark, first of all, is there a post-game press conference? What was Terrell Buckley's explanation for going for one there? I mean, I need to get a Buckley quote on this. I mean, I can't wait to hear his logic.
Like possible safety situation, we can tie the game up.
Did he think there's a fifth quarter? I mean, what is the situation there? I mean, it's incomprehensible. Yeah. There's no risk,
especially when you're betting on the Guardians.
Yeah,
when you're betting and that's maybe something. Even though the eye test tells me hey, the Guardians' offense is flying. We gotta think about that. I mean, I guess we're 8 weeks
talking
in,
about an 8-yard difference too. You're not going from the 2, going from the 10. What if you could tie the fucking game, Terrell?
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. All right, look, before we get to the next two games, I want to tell you that the XFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yeah, Underdog Fantasy is a great place to get down on fantasy and player props all year long. Underdog Fantasy has your favorite NHL, MLB, NBA daily games. They got XFL stuff there too. Plus, they're already doing best ball drafts for the 2023 NFL season. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right, man. Then you had Sunday's action. Good old Sunday action was fun, but man, same scenario in a way. So Houston was at San Antonio. What? Wade Phillips didn't understand. Did you guys watch this game? Did you guys get eyes on this game?
I mean, this was because this was our lock. Houston -4.5, and they're throwing an interception.
Houston does suck, by the way. They suck.
I know, but throwing an interception with 3 minutes to go at 15-6 when San Antonio can do nothing. What are you doing?
Jack Cohn is so bad.
It's amazing.
I'm convinced after watching all these leagues, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually did my power rankings. Give me a follow at the Colby D. I power ranked all 16 USFL and XFL teams.
Really?
San Antonio is by far the worst team. Watching Jack Cohn play quarterback is, look, I thought the Maulers were pretty bad last year. I think the Maulers would fuck up San Antonio. I mean, it's amazing they almost won this game because, first off, J Mark, did you catch this game? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where Wade Phillips, going for 2. I'm sorry, going for, what did he do? He went for 1. No, he went for 2 when he should have went for 3. What was it again? I'm psyching myself out right now.
2 when he went for 3. He should have gone for 3.
Yeah,
to go up 10.
That's what it was. Yeah,
to make it a 2-score game.
And it made no sense why he did that. It almost cost him the game.
Yeah, because it went to overtime.
Houston does suck too, though. I'm convinced that this team's not very good. I feel like they sprinkled fairy dust on us the first 4 weeks because their schedule was so bad. Watching this game, I was not convinced
torture.
that Houston's good. Or were you guys?
No, I mean they should have won and covered just because how bad San Antonio is. But this was also a ref game situation where it was just I mean, my God, not just the pass interference in the end zone, but all the flags on extra points are hilarious. It should be the strategy. Basically, you should just run plays where you're going to make them defensive hold or something, because then you get on the 1. Just say you're going to go for 3.
Yeah.
Say go for 3 every time.
Of course.
Get your penalty, then get on the 1 and do it.
That's where, look, I think June Jones was 100% correct, even though I know he hasn't had a great percentage of hitting these 3-point plays.
Right.
I think the way this league is so geared for the offense, and football really in 2023 is, but especially the XFL. Why would I almost feel like every time you score, you have to go for 3 because of the amount of penalties you can get, whether it's offsides, whether it's holding, pass interference, helmet to helmet. There's so much shit that can go in your favor, roughing the quarterback.
Smack talking, you get thrown out again for that.
Trash talk. You got it. You should be going for 3. I think every fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, this game was actually this was actually the worst actual football game I would say out of all of them. Like the worst. Like watching this game, it took a little bit. You need a couple Advil.
It really was unwatchable. And you're right about San Antonio.
Yeah.
John Parker Romo is their best player, their kicker. He's great. I mean, he's solid. He deserves a little.
J Mark, what'd you make of this game?
No, I agree. Both teams were terrible, and it's crazy that Houston is now a lock in the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs.
They were the first team to clinch,
True.
and they're not even good. Yeah,
tells you how bad that division is, though.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. Terrell Buckley. Terrell Buckley, because they're about to win that division.
Look at these stats.
At least in the playoffs.
Jack Cohn, 23 of 41 for 190, 4 yards of completion, 2 picks, and a fumble. I mean, I understand they went to get Benkert. He broke 3 ribs. Your season's over anyway, but man,
they're still alive, right? Though,
no, not technically. Now. I think they got eliminated with this, right?
Is Arlington?
They're still alive.
Yeah, they're still alive. Yeah.
Arlington could lose the next 2, and Brahmas win the next 2, and Brahmas are in.
Ship it. I'm on Team Brahmas now. Fuck it.
And you know
what's that future price? Let's get in.
Yeah, let's get in on that. Let's roll over. Let's chase our Orlando money and get on some Brahmas.
Oh man.
And they got Paxton Lynch starting next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, they got Paxton Lynch, John Parker, Romo, and Jock Patrick. Let's go.
Look, I know Juwan Pass is no Johnny Unitas.
Landon Akers. But kidding me? I love this team.
Do you find it ironic that the one time he started and they ran him a lot, they won that game?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Right. Yeah.
Just saying. Run the fucking rock. Your defense is good. I don't understand.
I will say this, and I am about the overtime rules, which we haven't talked, because this game went to overtime.
Yeah.
And it's the weird 2-point shootout thing, It's whatever. It is what it is. I will say it does take away
good defense.
Well, good defense, sure. And it's nothing to do with football at all.
Yeah.
But like you can't get those ridiculous overtime covers that you can in other sports. Because
true.
Like let's say if you have like 4.5, you can't win by more than 4.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
I'm there, but I hate
like Vegas. If that was normal overtime and I had Vegas, they would have lost by 8. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like,
but I hate how they took the strategy out of the game.
Yes,
to me, and I I have a problem with pretty much all college football, the NFL, XFL, and I don't remember if we saw the USFL one, but to me, I want the ball. Like college puts it at the 25,
right?
Which I'm somewhat on board with. I would be happier if it was like the 40 or the 45, because I want the strategy of should you kick a long field goal.
Yeah.
Should just add some more strategy to the game instead of like, no, we're going right down to the what yard line was it? The 5?
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
5 yard line. Why can't they just play more of the game? I don't get it. Why do they have to do like this fucking MTV Rock and Jock?
This is some soccer shit.
Who's got ideas? Like what?
Yeah. This is some soccer penalty kick shit that I don't like. And I even hate when college football
penalty kicks. I don't mind because you got to do something out there. You've been running around for 2 hours and nobody's scored. All right, I get that.
With the penalty kick, just do it further back.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Right, do anything
further back. It's too easy.
Anything that's not more soccer, I get. Finish this thing up.
Yeah,
we got local news we got to put on after this or something.
J Mark, do you like the overtime rules?
I'm gonna go against the grain here and say I don't mind it. It's better than the NFL. Each team gets their chance. Yeah, it could probably be altered a little bit, but at least each team gets the opportunity. I'm a fan of penalty kicks in soccer. So
they're too short though. If they move them back, it's like, dude, is the better team really winning, or is it just bullshit at that point? You know what I mean? That's my problem.
Yeah, if you watch the World Cup though, I mean, if we go back to the World Cup, the penalty kicks were good, and it's not like
I feel like I could make a penalty kick. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy here, but
also real quick, Brahmas are 50-1 right now. So if you buy into kind of what I talked about at preseason, the Brahma Bowl, the Rocks League.
Yes.
If you buy into that, it's 50-1 right now. I just put my $10 on it just in case. Just in case.
Hold on, but going back to your overtime thing, you can't be happy that if there's an offensive pass interference called, that you don't get to replay the down.
That's crazy.
That should be a replay. I agree.
I mean, come on. How do we not know that rule? Like,
right.
Maybe I didn't dive deep enough into the rules when I don't recall seeing that, but I don't know.
I didn't see anything that said an offensive penalty would create no play.
Right.
Yeah. Chris in the chat says, anyway, the league just comes in and says, hey, we messed up, and then allows the 4 best teams to make the playoffs. Houston or Arlington in the championship just isn't the most appealing.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's what they should do. Because I mean, I think if we were to power rank these things, it would be DC, Seattle, St. Louis, and then Houston. Right. I think that would be unanimous.
Yep.
I still like Orlando in there for 4, but anyway.
Holding on to my ticket.
Yeah. Never know. Yeah. Don't rip any. That's a good point. Don't rip any XFL future tickets. You never know if they're going to change the rules halfway through week 9 or week 10. If the Rock just decides, you know what, fuck it, Royal Rumble, everyone get in there.
I like how sometimes they call these pass interference penalties, and then other times Dean Blandino goes, no, they're just chicken fighting. Just chicken fighting.
That's what he's saying.
So much subjectivity. I like I said, I don't think the replay does them any favors.
Tussling, like they arm tussling. What? What are you talking? Also known as interference, right?
Well, and that's the thing. That was on a DC play where I think DC stopped
chicken fighting.
It was.
And here's my problem with that. And look, I had DC money line.
Yeah.
They weren't calling that consistently. Some of the big plays that DC got on pivotal third downs were on questionable pass interference calls. I say that as a guy that wanted DC to win. I call them the Redskins. The Redskins won, but look at this. They're just not consistent, man. I don't understand what the rules are. I don't. And Josh Gordon had a catch. Let's talk about this game because by far the best. I think the best game of the whole XFL season, personally.
It was. Yeah. I was going to say Orlando DC last week until Orlando made it worthless last week. So now I hate that game even existed. This game was incredible.
This game was great. I actually think this is a game like if I was to, if I was to show one tape of
aliens came down and landed and said, "Give me your best XFL."
Boom! It's this
human
game.
earthling.
It's this game,
like aliens tend to do.
But I also think, like we talked about, I mean, DC never trailed in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought once again the 2-point conversion where Tamu fumbles. There's 3 whistles that blow that shit dead. So that shouldn't have been 2 points there for Seattle, even though obviously, it was a fumble, but the refs fucked that up. But the players will stop running if you're doing, you cannot reward that for 2 points.
Yeah.
And then Josh Gordon makes a pivotal catch that I think is clearly on replay, clearly out of bounds. Like, am I crazy? Did you guys see this play?
I saw it. And Dino said he saw pebbles. You saw pebbles kick up.
You couldn't tell. He didn't even have the ball yet. It's like it's showing the ball come in, and his feet are already off the ground.
I think I'm talking to myself at 11 Blandino now. No, chicken fighting, pebbles. Now I get he's a comic who's never a referee.
Don't slow it down.
Yeah, right.
Don't slow it down.
Can't slow it down. That's not fair.
It's
not fair to those reps. Going on memory.
This game was awesome. I thought DC dominated the game, and I actually think the score did not. Reflect that how much they dominated this game. Now I will say Jordan Tamu did get his ass whooped a little bit, but I mean, he was fire. 17 of 26, 247, 4 touchdowns. What was his third down percentage? It was like 1,000%. He was on third down and completing passes. Now, some of those were because the other incompletions were deemed pass interferences. But what'd you make of the game, CJ?
I mean, like you said, game of the year. Jordan Tamu, by the way, I mean, just the last second half of the season just keeps getting better and better. And I think that DC pass offense is still underrated, especially when it comes to DFS and all that. I mean, they still run the ball. Obviously, they are the only team that still runs the ball, and their defense has gotten a little more susceptible. I think maybe because they score so many points, people know you have to keep up with them.
Chris Blair and Lucky Jackson.
Blair, though, absolutely. I've been. What was the pun? he blared the review. But yeah, Blair, Lucky Jackson, Tom, they're great, and of course, Abram Smith. DC should have won that game, and they did.
It's hilarious though because Seattle outgained them.
Right.
So
they go up in your power rankings finally.
Well, no,
the last 3 games, Seattle's gone down your yardage only power rankings. They lose, but they go up because the Danuch did the Danuch thing.
I need to go back to the Houston San Antonio game because I just want this to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me make sure. Yes. Dude, Houston only had 162 yards of offense and won. Every team that was the better yardage team lost. They were 0-4. 0-4 this weekend. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. But anyway, J Mark, what'd you make of this DC Seattle game?
All right, so I will deny if anybody asks if I actually said this, but props to Jordan Ta'amu, looking like the best quarterback in the league. And I say that as I got a little happy Easter text from the best quarterback in the league that never was, in Brian Scott. And I'm like, oh man, that. I'm watching Ta'amu light it up. And then Danuch, there's sometimes that Danuch, obviously he makes his mistakes, but then there's times that he makes nice little touch throws. And it's like, this guy, maybe he's the best quarterback in the league. He makes awesome touch throws every now and then that it's like, how can you also be so bad at the same time throwing all these turnovers? Yeah, this was a great game to watch. Very entertaining.
I was going to say, I wouldn't say Danuch is bad. Like we say, Danuch is good for everybody. It's just that everybody eats. When he's not bad, he might be bad for his team, but he's good for the defense. He's good for the offense. He's the Danuch. Everybody eats.
And shout out.
Coming to a merch store near you.
I know we had some fans there. Let me quickly try to find.
Yeah, at the game. I mean, what a game! What a game to watch. He was actually trying
to get us to take the over on 1.5 Danuch turnovers, which I said, yeah, I'll take it. Then he was like, bet me. And I was like, no. But he only had one. And yeah, shout out to at ASX
nice
X lies.
That over hit obviously for what was it 34-33 to final score?
Yeah, the over hit for us.
The only one to hit.
Dude, DC is by far the best team in this league.
Yeah, of course.
Like I actually think there's a major gap,
as predicted on the very first show of this XFL podcast.
And I think I power ranked the USFL and subscribe to the USFL Gambling Podcast too. But I think New Jersey, in the generals in the USFL, the Stallions are ahead of DC. But I think DC is in that mix for best team in all of these leagues.
What about a Byron Scott Canadian Toronto Argonaut team? Can they
yeah, there you go. A little Argos.
Can we get them mixed into the power?
You know, they once had Joe Theismann.
Why stop it? Why stop at 2 leagues? Let's get all
let's go.
Let's
ELF.
I'll
get the ELF going, right?
CFL's only 9 other teams. You could throw that in there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Do they have 9 teams?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. They have an odd number.
Yeah.
Guys,
Canadians.
Right. Power ranking time.
Real quick before you get there, I just wanted to do an update on the championship odds.
Okay.
Obviously, I said Brahmas 50-1.
Lock that in.
Yeah, Arlington 10-1. Seattle 5.5-1. St. Louis 4.25-1. Houston 2.5-1, and DC plus 125, 1.25. You could still get plus odds on DC. Do we have any doubts that they're going to take this?
Well, I will say DC is going to have a tough game versus either Seattle or St. Louis.
I think they'll fuck up.
I think they're going to win.
I think Seattle is the one team that could beat them. I think St. Louis can't stop the run.
Houston, will be in the championship game.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
I don't know. I feel like they're getting worse, man.
They are getting worse.
And I feel like Arlington with Perez playing better.
Yeah.
Like another week under the helm. Maybe
that's a good point.
Maybe something can happen.
Not Brown. I don't know. Lynch.
No.
I like them at 51. I mean, for sure, I like them at 51. Who does Arlington play next week?
This upcoming week we have the schedule. That's a good thing to talk about too. We have Vegas at Houston on Saturday, then Orlando at San Antonio. So
there goes our San Antonio.
Arlington is at DC.
Arlington's at DC, and DC just clinched.
Yeah, and Seattle's at St. Louis. Right. That's the game of the week. Yeah, so DC clinched. DC doesn't even need to win that. So.
Although do they not have home field yet? Probably.
I think they do because they swept both.
They have to.
They swept Seattle and St. Louis. So I don't know. It's
maybe
interesting.
Arlington might be worth a shot.
And remember, folks, our pick show is on Wednesday at like 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Let's talk power rankings, guys. Okay, I feel like this is the easiest week yet. We all have DC as the best team in the league, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We all have Seattle as the second best team in the league, correct?
Yep, I do.
J-Mark?
No,
you have St. Louis.
I got the luck boxes in there.
You're crazy.
So St. Louis,
you're fucking crazy. You really think they're better than Seattle?
If you're handicapping into corruption, then I'm kind of behind J-Mark on this.
That's true. This is like a
as far as talent wise, sure, Seattle, but I mean, come on,
like a Haitian election. You know what I mean? I feel like just
we do got to give St. Louis some credit. Yes, they should have lost that game, but also AJ McCarron didn't play too. I mean, we have to factor that in.
True.
Yeah, I mean,
but I would still.
If AJ McCarron plays, do we think Danuch cannot turn the ball over at the Battle Dome and win that game?
I just think their defense is playing great too right now. I think I know Tamu's stats are ridiculous, but I was actually kind of impressed with Seattle's defense at times. I thought they made Tamu pay the price a lot, right. and even limited Abram Smith some. But I would put Seattle too. But yeah, go with your St. Louis. I understand the league's
no need to jump ship now. I like it, Jim.
At 3, I will have St. Louis. Curious.
I got St. Louis.
Yeah. At 3, you would have Seattle, correct?
Correct.
Okay. At 4, reluctantly.
This is where it gets fun.
Reluctantly, I'm taking Houston.
I'm not taking you.
It's Orlando for you.
I would love to put Orlando up there, but Terrell Buckley is just he can't. I can't take it seriously with that. I'm actually going with Arlington at 4. I think with Perez.
With Perez, when the league helped him and Vic, don't let Vic Bolden get healthy. Right. They're my clear 5, and I actually think like by week 10, by going into the playoffs, they might be at 4.
Yeah, and also I think they deserve to win that Orlando game. To be honest with you, even besides all the yards, like yes, it was a lot of Dormady turnovers and shit like that in a conversion, and they got the scoop and score. But Arlington, I mean, that was impressive for me to go down there and, I mean, whatever. That's just how they're going to win games. They're going to win games 18-16s and like this nonsense like that.
I mean, Dormady fumbled by himself.
Right. His armband.
They took it to the house for 6. If that doesn't happen,
he had a greased armband.
They weren't winning that game.
But I know. But that's the thing. Like I said with the XFL with blown coverages, these things are going to happen. You can't say these things. If the guy didn't just throw the ball backwards in the end zone, but that's what he's going to do because they're concussed, and that's why they're the XFL.
I mean, look, you make a good point, J-Mark. What?
Oh, I do got to poke fun a little bit at CJ says, I think Arlington should have won that game except for this and this and this and this.
Right, except for all that. Except for all that.
Sure. Except for the coach's mathematics. Right, the coach's mathematics.
Oh my god, it's amazing. What I loved about it was the announcer. The one announcer just wouldn't let him get away with it. Hey, obviously trust his defense, and the other announcer, wait, what? What's going on? What? No, this is crazy.
It's only 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely insane.
They get 2 first downs. It's over. What are you doing? Oh man.
Right. So except for those 6 things, Arlington deserved to win that game. I agree with myself.
So J-Mark, who's your 5-6 is I'm sorry, your 4-5 is Houston and then Arlington. I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we agree there. Okay.
So I go Arlington, Houston. I go Arlington, Houston.
Arlington, Houston. Okay.
Now we get good.
Now it gets interesting with your 6, 7, 8. 6. I think it's Vegas. With McClendon coming on.
Right. McClendon. I mean, and they're embracing that spoiler mode now.
Their coach, well, I don't know. Both coaches have moments that just are baffling.
It's a coaching decision between.
I think I might go Orlando.
I have Orlando.
I think
6.
Orlando's been playing better.
I have Orlando 6 and Vegas 7.
I'll go Orlando 6, Vegas 7. J-Mark, what's your 6, 7?
I have Vegas and then Orlando.
That's fine too. I mean, I'm not going to split hairs over these two.
And we all have 8 San Antonio.
And we all have our pick to win the championship at 50-1 at number 8, Orlando. I like that. That's like our weekly tradition. Whoever's last in our power rankings, hammer a future on them.
How hilarious is this league going to be if Seattle's not in the playoffs?
Yeah, and there's a good shot, good chance, absolutely good possible, very possible.
They need to rewrite the rules right now. I mean, do they want to have a decent product in the playoffs?
That's why we needed that Vegas win last week.
DC if it's DC St. Louis, DC averaged Abram Smith averaged 9.4 yards a carry the last time they played, and that was at the Battle Dome. I don't think that game's going to be very entertaining. then you're like, okay, Houston, Arlington, maybe you can talk me into that being a decent game.
Yeah.
Now. Before I would say no. When they had Drew Plitt and Sloter Sundays, I thought there was no way that game would be interesting. But the loss of Kirkland for Houston, the uncertainty at quarterback there, they have. I'm wondering, what the hell their whole identity is. So shout out to Gary Van Dyke. Hot damn, it's showtime with the XFL go-tos. And Justin, he's coming at you, J-Mark.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
shots fired, Gary Van Dyke. I'm not gonna let you take a straight at our man J-Mark like that.
I know. What's going on?
But also thanks for the shout out for me.
Yeah, folks,
I will allow that.
We will be back Wednesday, 1:30 Pacific. Subscribe, tell a friend. Also, go over right now. Subscribe. Make sure. I know if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure. Well, you can watch it on YouTube, youtube.com, Google XFL or youtube.com, XFL Gambling Podcast. Then if you can subscribe, Spotify, iTunes, it helps us out a lot. Hop on over there, give us a 5-star review. And remember, DM me, folks. The 3 reviewers DM me, not just anyone. Also check out the USFL Gambling Podcast. USFL, I host that show as well. And we go live this weekend as well. So check out that. Give us a follow. The XFL Gambling Podcast is on Twitter at XFL Gambling Pod. Also, check out all of our solo shows. J-Mark does the Old Fashioned Football Podcast with him and his wife. I was lucky enough to be a guest on that. Big time guest, he said. He built that thing up for a couple months. Appreciate what you're doing to my ego.
The other big time guest is tomorrow, but yeah, you were a big time guest as well.
You want me back tomorrow?
Wow, back
you
to
want me back?
Back to back.
Yeah.
I'm just getting passed over left and right.
We're gonna get you on there too, CJ. Don't worry.
All right.
So everyone check that out. Give him a follow at JMark Football, and then C.J. Sullivan, the man in the box, is his podcast Bottom Line Bombs. I can't recommend it enough. It's fantastic stuff. And give him a follow at CJ Sullivan _ on Twitter. And check out the College Football Experience. I host that. It's been doing that shit for years. We're deep into the off season. Check it out. I also host the College Basketball Experience and the College Baseball Experience. Check out those. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast as well. Folks, get the SGPN app for free in the App Store and Google Play Store. And like we did all weekend, come hop in the Discord, talk a little XFL action with us. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. It's always popping in there. So until next week though, folks, you better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.